Alright, so my name is Andersen. Here's my 4 note cards. Alright, so I'm going to ask a question first. How many of you know someone that has ever been a victim of domestic violence? So a couple of you. That's good. So in 2006, Allstate Foundation National Poll took a survey, and nearly 3 out of 4 Americans know someone who has been a previous victim of domestic violence or is currently. The U.S. Department of Justice defines domestic violence as a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain power and control over another intimate partner. So when speaking of domestic violence, there's many aspects that are a part of it, such as physical, sexual, emotional, economic, and physiological abuse. This is an issue that can happen to anyone regardless of their race, age, sexual orientation, religion, or gender. Women from all cultures who have been a victim of domestic violence have problems physically, mentally, and emotionally, which can affect them shortly or for the rest of their lives. So women can be a victim of domestic violence at any point in their lives, which can cause physical damage to their body and their health. When a woman is victimized, the physical effects to her body and health can be extremely severe. Physical abuse is not just considered hitting and slapping, it also includes shoving, grabbing, hair pulling, biting, etc. So according to Michelle C. Blacks, who has a PhD, she wrote in a journal in 2011 and said, 1 in 4 women aged 18 and older in the U.S. have been a victim of severe physical violence in their lifetime. And as you can see from the graph, from 18 to 24 for the females, it's extremely high compared to the rest of the age groups. And so just some other basic statistics. It affects 1 in 4 women in their lifetime, and when you compare that, it's more than women that have breast, ovarian, or lung cancer combined. Most of Americans agree that domestic violence is tough to talk about, so more than 1/3 of Americans have never discussed this issue among family members or friends. It happens more than 145 times each hour, and 3 women die every day because of domestic violence. Depending on their financial knowledge and resources will depend on if the abused partner stays in the relationship or leaves. In addition to physical abuse, the effects of violence on a victim's health is severe. The CDC states that women might experience the following issues after being physically abused. They could have bruises, knife wounds, broken bones, or even a brain injury. So even though the physical effects play a huge role in domestic violence, there are also other issues that affect them. Those issues would be like mental and emotional effects. So physiological violence can lead towards many consequences such as anxiety, depression, flashbacks, suicidal behavior, and low self-esteem. Michael P. Johnson's published a book in 2010 titled Typology of Domestic Violence. On page 41, he said that women report that the physiological impact of their experience is worse than the physical effects. From there, he quoted a woman that was a victim, and she said, "I found the verbal abuse much worse than the physical abuse. It was the constant verbal attacks that got me down." So in terms of emotional effects, it can include undermining a woman's self-esteem, name-calling, etc. So again, the same woman he quoted again, and because of the verbal attacks, her self-esteem plummeted every time. So furthermore, these effects affect all cultures. It's not just whites, it's not just blacks. So it's an issue all over the world. So since this is a global issue, there have been many studies done around the world to see the prevalence of domestic violence. So in 2005, the World Health Organization did a study on Brazil, Japan, Ethiopia, Peru, and many more. The study showed that half the women had physical injuries from the violent act. So as you can see from the graph, it compares white, Hispanic, and black. So there's the overall rate, the severe violence, and the minor violence. But minor violence is higher, but overall it's still all classified in the same category. So it's even relevant in our own area in Seattle. Michael Hawthorne published an article in 2013 titled "Domestic Violent Rates Surging in Seattle as Other Assaults Fall." He said between 2009 and 2012, the domestic violence rates just in Seattle have risen 60%, which is a drastic increase from the past couple of years. Although these effects do affect women differently, it is ultimately up to them in order to start their road to recovery. So in conclusion, I hope you understand the severity of domestic violence against women. It is a current global issue. The physical, mental, and emotional damage is severe to every woman or any victim that has been struggled through domestic violence. So if you know someone that has been a victim of domestic violence, there's plenty of organizations just in Seattle that they could get help at, and by doing that, you could help save someone's life. Thank you.